Oh, I've got two of these. All right. All right. Are we ready? Off you go, man. Good morning. Oh, y'all are so beautiful. I'm so glad to be here to see all of these lovely faces. I'm always glad to be back with my tribe. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. We are a covenantal community founded on loving kindness and a common devotion to our free faith. If you are new, if you are visiting for the first time, or if you returned after a hiatus, we're so glad to see you. We invite you to check out our website and our Facebook page. They're constantly under construction, but I was just putting some new things on the other day, so worth taking a look. And if you want to know lots about Unitarian Universalism, uua.org will tell you more than you ever wanted to know. So today is kind of a special day because following our service we have our congregational meeting, our fall meeting, in our service.
Hello, my name is Scott Miller, and I'm going to be the service leader this morning. In terms of announcements, as Reverend Ruth said, we have the congregational meeting right after the service. We're going to take a 5-minute break for restrooms and water or whatever, and then we'll come back for the meeting, and after that we'll have the coffee hour. I've also been asked to remind everyone that next Sunday is our brunch service, so we will be gathering here and having our service while we have our brunch. And wear costumes. Yes, wear costumes.
Who provides the brunch? You do.
It's a potluck brunch. And now we'll hear the prelude which prepares us for the service. Emily, you want to join us for the chalice lighting? The flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It is an everlasting flame for this community. It offers its warmth to those who are cold. It provides light to those who would see. It purifies and transforms this sanctuary into a sacred space, this congregation into a sacred community. May its flame burn true, high, and strong.
This can be an intense experience which will leave some people in tears. But we are not afraid of tears here. Our call to worship is written by my colleague Kendall Gibbons. Out of a community of diverse heritage and belief, we come together to share our hope and create good in the world. The prophets of all traditions and times have taught that we are called to mercy, to generosity, and mutual care, and that to be great is to serve. We know that there can be no enduring happiness for humanity so long as suffering and want go unrelieved. Until all may be sheltered, none of us is truly at home. May the power of our various faiths sustain us in this work, that we may be the hands of holy creativity and justice. A better world. I invite you to. So let's take that time together, and then I'll close us with a few words. Each of us arrives in the middle of the human story, and each of us will exit in the middle of that story. May we each find ways to make our middle help the story. Amen. Shalom. Blessed be.
We will now receive the offering. Our custom is sexual, and they do all of this confidentially and at no cost to the participant.
I was almost 15 years old, and I had been begging my parents to teach me to drive. So while we were visiting relatives in rural Sumter County, Alabama, Dad thought a gravel road nearby would be a good place to begin my driving experience. My mother, a kind of Southern belle oracle of gloom and doom, declared it to be an enterprise fraught with peril. It rained last night. She will end up in the ditch. But Dad was undaunted. I sat behind the wheel. Under Dad, as I let up on the brake, I stomped down on it, and we both jerked hard against our seat belts. Then, starting and stopping, I began to get a feel for the connection between the pedals under my foot and the weight and movement of the vehicle. By the time we reached the old Presbyterian church, I was getting a little more confident. My shifting into reverse and directed me to turn the wheel to the right and back onto the grass parking area. He congratulated me, and we both felt kind of proud of ourselves. Remember that the great Greek tragedy any direction. Slowly I pulled forward as Dad instructed me to turn to the left and pull onto the gravel to return the way we had come. As the car moved onto the road, Dad said, "Okay, straighten up." I sat up a little in my seat and kept turning left. Father to raise his voice. He was a gentle person with a kind disposition and an even temper. Even in tense, conflicted situations, he was famous for what we now call a non-anxious presence and a calm demeanor. "Ruthie, straighten up." This time his voice had an edge to it, and I sat up even more in my seat and kept slowly turning left as the front tire moved off the gravel. "Straighten up," cried my father with greater emphasis. I sat up very straight, alarmed and confused by his concern over my driving posture. The front tire moved onto the grass of the narrow shoulder, just above the steep 3-foot slope. Straighten up, yelled my father in sheer panic as he reached forward to brace himself against the dashboard. And as I strained with every muscle in my back to sit up as straight as humanly possible, we slid ever so gently and inexorably into the ditch. We sat in silence for a few seconds. Then Dad asked me, with a little tension still in his voice, "Why didn't you straighten up?" I was fighting back tears. "Oh, Daddy, I sat up as straight as..." Dad was quiet for a few more seconds. "I meant turn the wheel back to straighten up the path of the car." "Oh," I responded, thinking of how pleased my mother, the oracle, would be. Doing church well is neither simple nor easy and totally worthwhile. Church is a little bit like several organizations and also not quite like any other. There are elements of a business, a social club, a nonprofit group, an outreach organization, a museum, maybe a few others. Yet a congregation by any name, like our fellowship, is an unusual gathering incorporating some or all of these along with the pursuit of both the internal and external spiritual journey. The very diversity that we treasure intellectually makes it all the more complex. About the dynamic and somewhat fluid nature of membership. Now, while she doesn't go back to the original gathering in the mid-1950s, Judy Byrne Riley has been here the longest of our current members. You want to say how long, Judy?
Long enough to know better.
Some of it is very helpful. and some of it may be contrary to the way we aspire to do church here. This is why we sometimes struggle with each other, like Dad and I did in the first great driving lesson incident of 1982. Some of us might be using church language of their religious background, and it makes no sense at all to someone else with a different experience. For silence and less discussion. But since Unitarian Universalists are famous for using 500 words where 50 will do, there's little chance of that. We're supposed to operate according to democratic principles. But kind of like the U.S. government, in order to facilitate decision making, we elect representative leaders to do the legwork and get things done. Once a year, those who have been members, at least 60 days, gather, like we will in a few minutes, to vote on those who will next represent the interests of the fellowship and make decisions on behalf of all of you in 2024. It is critical to doing church well that we all understand that these elected representatives are not expected to do all the work. Also, our wonderful staff, who are all hired for less than half time, cannot do all the work. And what work is that, might you ask? Well, there is this thing that we are engaged in right now, which is traditionally called a worship service. While some in our midst may scoff, thinking that worship must necessarily connect us to a deity in which they have no belief, what we are actually doing is reminding and being reminded of those things in life which are worthy of our attention, our value, and our resources. These are the vital parts of our lives: love, beauty, justice, loss, grief, restoration, repair, peace, and for some of us, some kind of divine reality. While worship can be entertaining, it's to socialize. It is not primarily about socializing. It's formation. When we gather here, we come with some awareness of our flaws, our failures, our vulnerabilities. And while we may strive to keep these hidden during our weekday routines, when we walk through those doors, we hopefully have a sense that we can let these parts of ourselves show a little bit, and that we can find some help, some encouragement, some practical strategy, some metaphysical enlightenment, and some hope for the days in front of us. We come in aspiring to become better persons, to transform into better, more fully human versions of ourselves. To make this marvelous experience available every Sunday, we need folk to participate and share the joy and the responsibility for this transformational work. We need readers, singers, instrumentalists, altar table decorators, storytellers, greeters, program folders, audiovisual assistants, and speakers. Almost anyone in this room can find a place. Then we want to raise up children who live by those principles and values. We want to do an outstanding job of providing our children and youth with the tools with which to engage in their own faith journeys. It is a privilege, an honor, to participate in leading young minds and hearts to the truths, bring snacks, clean toys, repair furniture, assist with special events. The director of religious exploration should not be chasing anyone down to beg for help. We must all reach out to her, or in her absence to the RE committee members, asking, what can I do to help our kids grow into adults who will make the world better? I know every person doesn't have the same talents, the same resources, the same health and energy level. Just please don't sit there and watch others do church? Look around. Ask someone. Find your points of engagement so you can do church well too. Being a Unitarian Universalist is not a spectator sport. We are all members of the team, each of us with an important role to play. My venerable father, who has been gone now for more than 2 decades, taught me how to drive. My first lesson was how to drive into a ditch. The second was how to get the car out again and back onto the road. More importantly, he taught me how to do church well as a Methodist, and much of that wisdom translated to how to do UU church well. Whether you are helping count the money, load the dishwasher, sweeping the leaves, delivering food donations, welcoming the parents and friends of lesbians and gays, or 100 other jobs, large and small, we are all bringing our various selves into the transforming process of doing church, and specifically here, doing fellowship well. If this fellowship brings meaning to your life, then engage and find ways to contribute. If this fellowship continues to transform you into a better human being, find ways to help make that experience available to others. If the very existence of this fellowship helps give you hope each week and makes the tough times bearable, then make sure you are doing church well, so well that our fellowship will thrive and continue to be here for all of those in this room, for our friends and members who couldn't be with us today, and perhaps most importantly, for all of those out there who have not found us yet. Doing church well is never simple or easy. It's absolutely worthwhile. Amen. Shalom. Blessed be. If you will find a teal hymnal, it's not enough to have one hymnal. We have 2 hymnals. Find a teal hymnal. Our closing hymn is this wonderful, energetic song, The Fire of Commitment, number 1028. 1028. Let's sing all verses. As you are able, I invite you to stand.
We are all longing to go home to someplace we've never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us, work that needs to be done. And we falter. A circle of healing, a circle of friends. Free.
Siblings and kindred, our fellowship makes such an enormous difference in our lives and in the lives of others. Again, to doing. Let us go in peace following the postlude.